Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another album review. And this is another album that I got for Record Store Day. And it's Roger Waters and it's his Dark Side of the Moon Redux live version. Now, when I reviewed this, which was the studio version, I think at the time I was one of the kindest, most balanced reviews of this album there was on the internet. There's loads more now, but at the time this really was like oil and water. The Marmite album, most people just didn't like it and just completely blew it out of the water. I gave it a fair chance and saw it as like, say, my favourite meal cooked slightly differently to what I'm used to, but still enjoyed it. And Dark Side of the Moon is an album I have multiple times on CD, multiple times on vinyl. And yes, I do have the marbles and the scarves and everything in the super deluxe edition as well. So apart from side 4, which is some kind of ambient recording of Roger in his garden, this is 3 sides. And I remember at the time saying that once we got to Us and Them, Any Colour You Like and all that, it was a different, but I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed Breathe and On the Run. So the fact that there was going to be a live one, just for Record Store Day, here it is, was interesting. And I've also watched the review that Brendan Snyder did on this as well. And the reason why I mention that is because we think differently, I think, on this. Although I've not spoken to Brendan directly on it, he prefers this to the studio version of Roger's reinterpretation. I don't. I prefer this one still. Maybe it's because as a live album, I thought there would be more life in it in some ways. There'd be more instrumentation in it. It's Roger Waters. You know, I've seen him do The Wall live, and how Roger thinks of big production and perfection and his big budgets. I don't know what this looks like. I haven't gone looking for live clips or anything. But there's no information on the album at all. No track listing, whereas there was on the other. On the inner sleeve, I would have liked a polylined inner sleeve to protect the vinyl. It's just a picture of Roger in his pink jacket. And on the back, another picture of Roger with a pink jacket. The word pink. It is on pink vinyl. There's no track listings on either side. There's nothing at all to suggest that. It does say side 1, which gives you a clue, I guess. But it's a single album. And the studio album was 3 sides. So it all seems to be over rather quickly. The other thing is it doesn't sound very live. Apart from a fairly subdued crowd at the beginning, you wouldn't know you're listening really to a live album. The other thing is, whereas I've always felt that Dark Side of the Moon, as I've got older, my love of the album has not decreased. It hasn't become one of those albums that I feel like I don't need to hear ever again because I know it so well. I actually enjoy listening to it. I don't put it on loads, but I don't mind it. What I've really grown into are the lyrics. Not all of them, perhaps, but I understand it more now. I mean, if you listen to lyrics on Breathe, it's so poignant and timeless about getting older and one day 10 years has got behind you and all the rest of it, and time and money. It's an excellent stuff. And I felt that a lot of that was still there on this version. I feel that on the live one, there's obviously the undertow of Roger Waters' kind of like almost talking monologue that kind of infiltrates many of the tracks and many of the lyrics that I kind of look out for weren't there, or obviously what Roger's talking is how he feels now, what he feels now as a man in his 80s compared to what he felt like a man in his 20s. And so he feels differently, and he's expressing that. But I don't know. I found it as a live album, knowing what I know of Roger Waters live and what I expected, I thought, and the band is very different that's playing with him here than who normally plays with him. And it just didn't have, I just thought it would have areas. I know David Gilmour's not there, but that hasn't stopped Roger Waters having, guitar parts and everything. He's had some stunning guitar players over the years. But this is really subdued, more subdued, I feel, than the studio version. And apart from a little bit of audience at the beginning and the end, it doesn't feel that live to me. This is out on Cooking Vinyl. If you're a Roger Waters fan, then no doubt you've sought this out. And it's you that I want to know what you think about this. I know Brendan prefers this to the studio version, but for me, it's the other way around. I don't know, my expectations were that this would be bigger than the studio one. I understood where he's coming from, the studio one, because he also gives in the, I think maybe this is it really. It's not, it gives like in the story, it gives background, what he's thinking of, what's going on in his mind when he approached this to reinterpret this work that many of us know. But here on the live one, none of that's there. Maybe he feels that, well, I've already said that. But live, it's different again. The interpretation is going in a different direction. That's what it feels like to me. So that is a Record Store Day release. Now, whether it's going to be involved part of the big deluxe edition box set, I don't know. But it'd be interesting to know what you think, really. Roger's not doing any interviews, in case any of you ask, so he's not going to be talking to me about it. But of course, if he did, I'd probably be a good person to talk to, because I'd be very interested just to know how he viewed this through his eyes as an older guy looking back through time to what, these songs mean to him. Anyway, that is out, and you can still get copies out there on the Tinternet. It's The Dark Side of the Moon Redux Live, Roger Waters, reimagined yet again. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please subscribe and ring that little bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And if you become a patron or a YouTube member, you can get access to the private Facebook group and the private groups on WhatsApp as well. Plus, you can come along to our own virtual pub called the Now Spinning Arms. So take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.